These are my Friday reflections, and I just want to share something with you. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but I have definitely been in this space at some point in my life and in some point in my journey. And it's that space where you've been in a rough situation for so long, right? Or you've wanted to achieve something for so long, but the only thing you have the courage to do is to say, I'll pray about it, or it's in God's hands. Now, I'm not talking about those situations where it is truly a divine situation and you need divine intervention, because there is nothing you can do about that situation. There's no change you can make. There's no standard you can set. There's nothing you can do about that situation. I'm not talking about those situations that require us to have faith that everything works for our highest good. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the situations where we can actually control a portion of what's going on. We have the authority to make a decision, but we don't make the decision out of fear of losing something, out of fear of not being enough, out of fear of your competition, whatever it is, the fear that you have. Now, there's scripture and there's philosophers and there are some great people in history that have said in one way or another, faith without works is dead. We can pray all we want to about a situation. At what point do we realize that God has given us the authority and the provision to raise our standard? Because many times when we find ourselves in a long-term challenge or struggle, or a long-term desire of wanting something to come to pass, we find that there are things that we can do to move forward in whatever it is that we want. And really what it boils down to is raising our standard, is knowing that we are enough, is knowing that we are worthy to have these expectations and we shouldn't feel bad about them. Some of you have wanted to accomplish things for a really long time, but you refuse to do the work. All you do is you say, I'll pray about it. It's in God's hands. If God wanted me to have it, he would give it to me. Well, if you ask God for it, and if you're spiritually connected, and if your spiritual connection is strong, I truly believe that your higher source centers you so that your desires line up with the plan. And if it's in your heart and if it's in your mind, then it was placed there, especially when you are spiritually connected and you have a consistent relationship and you do the inner work so you can have mental clarity, so you can receive whatever it is that you are meant to receive, and you're able to identify the directions that you need to go. So when you are connected, you hear that it's okay, you're gonna make it, keep moving, keep moving. It reminds me of that song, when I move, you move, just like that. When I move, you move. When you move, your source moves. Because there are some things that are not just gonna be given to you. You've prayed about this thing long and hard. People have come, they've come to be your answer because they were sent by your source, by your divine source. You know, God has removed people out of your life that you went and ran and drug back into your life because for whatever reason, even though you asked for peace of mind, that person was removed and you ran back to the chaos and brought it back into your life. Or you want to accomplish these things and all of these opportunities present themselves, but you never apply for it. You never actually email or submit your resume. You never go in and meet the person that you want to partner with. You never put an ad out to promote what you're doing. You never go to class and complete the work so you could get the grade. Or you want the relationship, but you don't know yourself and you refuse to do the work on yourself. Or let's go here. You're in a bad situation. You're at a job that you can't stand. And every time your divine source tries to release you from it, you get scared and you run right back to it. Or you're in a relationship that's unhealthy, where someone is not loving you the way that they need to love you. For decades, you're going through this same stuff, or for years, you're going through the same stuff of not being their priority, of not being taken seriously, but you're too afraid to raise your standard and to know and believe that your expectation is not unreasonable, that you stay in the midst of this unhealthy relationship, killing yourself a little bit every single day because you're not getting what you need from the person that you love. God has given you provision, but you're too afraid to move into it and to walk into it. And those are the things that I am talking about. You have to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work. If there's something you want, or if there's something you don't want, you have to be willing to do the work. You can't just say, I'll pray about it, and then there's no work that follows it. Because I bet now when you say, I'll pray about it, you're not coming from a space of faith. You're coming from a space of ritual. This is what I say when I'm going through because it makes me look good. It makes me look like I'm connected. It's not about looking good, because I guarantee you that people that know you, people that are connected to you, they see through all the fog. They see through all the smoke. You're not hiding anything from anybody. And so when you pray, as you practice your faith, do the work. Listen, stay connected, do and make the moves that you know that you need to make. So your prayer, your request can be answered. So when you move, your divine source moves. But there are some things in your life that your divine source can't move until you move. Because every time your divine source has given you the mercy and the grace that, we don't deserve, but we appreciate, you run right back to the same thing that you've asked to be saved from. Or you run away from that very thing that you asked to have a part of your life. So prayer and faith without works is dead. And if you want to live life on your terms, there are some things that are going to require an enormous amount of courage, because you go against the grain and you're afraid, and maybe you have to walk the path alone just a little while. But I guarantee if you begin to move and you begin to do the work, you're going to see your prayer answer unfold. You're going to see things line up. Everything that is removed from your life is not always permanent. Some things are temporary. Some things come back together at a different time when it's healthy for this person, healthy for that person, or it's a good opportunity for you. It meets your expectation as far as what you want to do and be, as far as your family goes, or you as a person. So do the work. Don't just say what sounds good, because what sounds good, when it doesn't match up, you make yourself look crazy. And it's not that I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say for me, I make myself look crazy, because here I am, a strong person, a person that knows the power of their words, a person that understands the power and the value of peace. And if all I can do is say a sentence that I've rehearsed over and over and over again without any energy put into that statement, energy as far as actually believing it and doing the work necessary on my part, I look crazy, right? I look like a person speaking all these things and posting on social media, but then you might see me in person and I don't exhibit any of the qualities or the characteristics that you may see in recordings. That's making me look crazy, right? So do the work and trust what God or what your divine source has already gifted you with. You have everything you need right now to become, to do, and to have whatever it is that you desire. And the more that you work on the inner man and the more connected you get to your source spiritually, the more you're going to see how your desires begin to line up with the plan for your life, with your ultimate plan for your life. Because sometimes we don't see the big picture. We only see the little bitty parts of the picture, and we get so focused on those, we forget about the big picture. We forget about what it is that we want. And so trust the process. If you are a person of faith, trust that the moves that you make, if it feels good in your heart, if it feels good, move in it and do it. And don't be afraid of raising your standard. Have a standard and make people fall in line. And when I say make people fall in line, I mean, if the person is not meeting your standard, if they're not treating you the way that you want to be treated, remove them out of your space. That is how you raise your standard. Because let's just say this, honestly, we can make all the threats, we can write down all the goals we want to, but if we never raise our standard and if we renege and backpedal on everything that we say, how seriously can somebody take us? Whether it's a challenge or it's an opportunity. If we never actually follow through with what we say, how seriously can someone take you? In fact, how serious can you take yourself? More than likely, it's just become rehearsed conversation again. And you really don't take yourself too seriously because you know you're not going to do anything you said you were going to do. So raise your standard. Set your expectation. Understand that you're worthy of everything good up under the sun. Understand that everything is working for your highest good. And when you pray, when you meditate, when you spiritually connect with your source, know that there are some things that you may have to do. And in those tasks, ask for peace and ask for the courage to be able to move forward even into the things that you're uncertain about. And you're courageous enough to move forward because you trust the process and you know that at the end of the day, everything is working for your highest good.